and everybody else in the car is just starting to nod off, and you just like chill out, as you're driving
Yeah.
home. It's a really nice sort of driving home tune.
So long as you don't
Oh,
fall asleep behind the wheel.
yeah, there's the old Bob Monkhouse joke, isn't there? You know, I want to die peacefully in my sleep like my dad, not screaming like his passengers. Anyway,
That's dark, but hilarious. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. I'm Andy. That's John. You know what we do here. We share music. We discuss music. We listen to music. John, you're going to be offering up something. I'm going to be going off and giving a listen, and we're going to come back and discuss it in detail. What band, what track is it today, sir?
so it's a band called Wooden Shjips. Are you familiar with Wooden Shjips?
Shjips. The name sounds familiar, but I don't know if I've heard anything from them or not. To be honest with you,
Yeah, it's Ships with a J between the H and the I. That one.
of course,
Yeah.
Shjips. Okay, I got you. Yeah, that old chestnut. All right. Let me go check it out. What's the name of the track?
Well, like you, already gone.
Already gone. Yes. Well, now I can be already gone, fully equipped with all the information I need. I
Gone
will.
already.
I'll return shortly and let you know what I think of the tune. Okay. The artwork here does a pretty good job of setting the tone for the music because I'm definitely getting not only from the imagery on the screen here, but from the sounds of this music, a very psychedelic feel. Also like it's so little, but like the little shaker that's going on with the percussions in the background is a lovely little touch. But yeah, this has almost this soothing, calming, uh, bordering on trancy type sound to it, and I don't know, it's soothing to me to hear this. It's got such a mellow vibe to it, which I mean that checks out as far as psychedelia is concerned. So yeah, this is good stuff. There's also like leaning into the psychedelic sound the most out of all of this is perhaps the vocal track, which seems to have some not only the way that the singer's delivering the lyrics, but also like maybe some tweaking going on in production or post production where they're kind of having fun with the effect on his voice because it's only adding to the psychedelic nature of the sound. But I really do like what I'm hearing thus far. This has a very calming, like, hey, cool, love, peace kind of sound to it, and I'm here for it. Curveball as far as like whatever exactly that instrument is for psychedelia, but the little tune that it played kind of falls in line, and it would kind of caught me off ball, a little bit of curveball there. Um, yeah, let's take this back. Also, the tone on the guitar there is lovely. This is clearly not the first time it's made an appearance in this tune, but it warrants saying now at the 2 minute marker that that guitar tone is lovely. That's guitar, right? That has to be guitar. Oh, that's lovely. Mm. Yeah, that was just a really, really enjoyable listen. I liked that a lot. I could easily see this making it to my playlist, and being selected at the appropriate times. Like this is definitely some good mellowed out music. Love like the first time that oddball sound came along, that I don't believe that was guitar. Now, you know, every day's a school day here at the Audiophile, so I might learn different. But that the first time it came through, it sounded more synthesized or synthetic in nature. Then it sounded like the guitar was affected to try to mimic that sound, um, and doing so really well. It was just sort of the fluidity of how it was being played that really tipped me that it sounded like guitar. But yeah, I'd like to know what the instrumentation was on that. I don't know. John will probably be like, "You fool, it was this." But yeah, that was regardless, it was a really really good song. Didn't catch shit for lyrics. That has a little bit to do with how invested I was in listening to the musical movements of everything, as well as sort of the ethereal kind of like stretched out vocal uh delivery, as well as like whatever effects that were being used there in production as well. Doesn't take anything away from the song. That the vocals were good. It very much matched the aesthetic of the song. It just didn't. I didn't catch what the fellow was saying there, but yeah, this is a really good first listen. A good, it's like nice easing into introduction, I would think. Um, Maybe John can let me know if that assumption is right, as well as a bunch of other stuff about the song and band on the other side. Let's get back to him.
So you're back from your sojourn.
Mm-hmm.
Managed to roll yourself off the hammock and join us again. What did you think?
Oh, how apropos that turn of phrase, the rolling
I
off of
picked
the
my
hammock.
words carefully. Yes.
Yes. This definitely soothing, a
Mm.
surprisingly soothing number. Because I didn't know what I was getting into when I was
I'm a
listening to it.
surprisingly soothing guy, so I shouldn't
Yeah,
be a surprise.
yeah, that's what everyone says. Yeah, it kicks off, and we've got this like light head bobbing chord progression with some nice shuffling drums that are accented by the welcome presence of our old friend, the handshaker, which you can hear it like kind of. I could just see the guy with the egg-shaped shaker going at it, and it sounded awesome. Then there's this like reverb guitar that begins crawling over the musical canvas with this like slow resonant riff, and there are also minor smatterings of like these electronic sounds peppered very judiciously and only while the aforementioned guitar lick is going on, I believe. They're really subtle, and they too at this point are kind of like resonant in that they're just struck and are kind of like this open electronic sound for a bit, because it's not like anything staccato or melodic that's being
It's
played.
like pebbles in a pool, isn't it? And they're just
Right.
rippling out.
Yes, precisely, because the rippling out effect is the quieting resonance of it that sort of occurs thereafter. Um and there is this like the vocals lean into this very psychedelic delivery, which is slightly shaky and airy, and only further enhances the soothing nature and the tranquil sound the song has as a whole. So the music has a little bit of this psychedelia sound, but the vocal track really, I think, leans into it and thus brings up the rest of the song to make it even more psychedelic as a whole. Then just as the song is reaching the 137 marker, um, I experienced my first like raised eyebrow moment of the tune when that electronic like sort of just thing in the distance actually steps forward and takes the reins with a simple but fun little run of notes, and it's like these different sounds one might hear in traditional psychedelia, but it sort of goes against the grains of like classic psychedelia, and now you have this like electrono psychedelia kind of synthy sound to it, and you're like, what is this? This is not what I'm accustomed to, but it's kind of like, even though it bucks the tradition of psychedelic rock, it is refreshing and fun and incredibly quirky. So I really, really enjoyed that. That kind of made me smile while also making me raise my eyebrow. Then at
Sorry,
the
just a, sorry,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
just a sec. It always reminds me of a kind of mid-period Nokia pre-laden for the tunes you could get for your phone, the
Yeah,
various
yeah,
different ones. Step up from kick, it's up from
yeah,
there.
yeah,
The
yeah,
multi-phonic tunes, whatever, used to be preloaded. This is it's
yeah.
one of those.
It's like
It's
the
quite
sound
sharp.
after you make like a minor achievement in a handheld video game and it plays a little melody, like a triumphant melody. That's kind of like what it is. Like, I'm like, all right, I scored 10 bonus points or something. But yeah, it was really fun. I liked it a lot. And so the 225 marker rolls around, and after another chorus, there's what I believe to be lead guitar that kind of plays the role of that synthy bit, of that sort of electronic sound that we were just talking about. And it's funny because it's like it's paying homage to its predecessor by mimicking it to its best of its ability. Like it's clearly effect laden, but it's trying to lean into the same sound that was generated by this completely different instrument. But you can tell that it's a guitar because the bends that are going on some of the notes is like no other instrument can really make that transitional sound from note to note like a guitar can. So I was like, okay, I know what I'm hearing there. And I thought that was kind of funny and interesting too, that it's like playing kind of this cheeky little game of let me sound like the last guy, even though it's a completely different instrument. The vocals sound like they have like the slightest bit of echo or some other effect on them that is really appealing, and I think it fits the motif of the song really well. And whoever made the decision, in whether it was like a producer or the band themselves, said, "Hey, this is the sound we want to go for on this vocal track." I thought it was great. It also didn't lean into it too much, like get too crazy with it. But it did have this kind of like, I don't know, like the Baby of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds sort of approach to like tinkering with the psychedelic sound of a vocal track. And I appreciated that very much. At the 327 mark, we get more of this affected guitar lead as the tune works its way to a fade out. It's not often that a lead guitar portion provides a sense of tranquility. Usually, when you think of lead guitar, you're like, and this is where the tension amps up, or this is where you get the explosion shredding set. No, this is like there was something like you said, the hammock. You could sway in a hammock to this bit of lead that's kind of going on here, and it was a much more passive way of listening to lead guitar than I've experienced in a lot of other songs, but in the best kind of way. I didn't need to have my face melted. I needed to have my face laden with moisturizer and have two cucumbers put over my eyes because this is the musical equivalent of that. And I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't catch much of the lyrics, but I thoroughly enjoyed the song and the headspace it put me in while listening to it. Again, harkening back to just because I didn't hear the lyrics, I think it's obvious at this point I appreciated the vocal track. I just didn't really pick up on what was happening with it or what they were saying specifically. And I can easily see this one making like a playlist of mine. Like, I don't know, like something, I'm doing something relaxing while this song is playing because it's just a perfect sort of soundtrack to that kind of situation and scenario. And I could easily see myself listening to this again. So yeah, it was a good tune. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Wooden Ships are a really decent band. That album there, West, I've got on vinyl. It's the only one I've got on vinyl for some reason. I don't know why. This album that it's from, you probably see the thumbnail. It's called V, man. That is the album I actually listen to the most, but I still haven't put it on vinyl. Strange, but I found that it's one of the really good uses for this album is when you're driving back from a day out somewhere, and everybody else in the car is just starting to nod off, and you just like chill out, as you're driving home. It's a really nice sort of driving home tune.
So long as you don't fall asleep behind the wheel.
Yeah, there's the old Bob Monkhouse joke, isn't there? I want to die peacefully in my sleep like my dad, not screaming like his passengers. Anyway,
That's dark but hilarious.
No, a band. Wooden Ships, formed in San Francisco 2006.
That explains the cover.
Exactly. Now based in Portland, though. And they're classed as psychedelic rock, space rock, shoegaze. I can't think of any of their stuff that I've heard of shoegaze. There probably is, but I haven't heard all of it. But alt rock and experimental rock. So personnel: Eric Ripley Johnson, vocals and guitar; Dusty Jermier on bass; Nash Whalen keyboards and organ; and Omar Asunuddin on drums. Yeah, so as I said, this is from their fifth album called V. 2018 this was. I've got a bit of blurb here from their own website just to sort of clue you in on this album. Songs were written during the summer 2017 by singer and guitarist Ripley Johnson as an antidote to the pervasive anxiety, both political and natural. As Ripley tells it, we had a huge forest fires just outside Portland, and there were intense haze and layers of ash in the city. I was sitting on my porch every evening watching ash fall down like snow. You had some of this earlier in the year from Canada, didn't you?
Yeah.
The sky looking like it was on fire. It was an apocalyptic feeling. Summer in Portland is usually really chill and beautiful. And we were working on a summer record, but the outside world kept intruding on my headspace. Um, so yeah, so V, graphic representation of the peace sign, seemed an apt um, uh, cover for the album to be focused on the power of peace, beauty, and resistance. The music is a balm against the noise and negativity. And what is said about, you were talking about the producer, is this is another quote from Ripley. We told Cooper, that's Cooper Crane, who produced and engineered and mixed the album, to keep it really fat, but to feel free to play around with the other elements, make a nice headphone mix with a lot of movement, said Ripley. I wanted it to be floaty because that's kind of where my headspace was at the time.
Totally checks out.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously a bunch of old hippies, which is great. The bands, they do like cite their love of classic rock from like Velvet Underground to Neil Young, and a big love of the 60s scene from San Francisco.
Yeah.
There's a really nice review from a user on Metacritic. By the way, this album scored 72 on Metacritic. I think most of the, I didn't write down the sort of reviews, but most of them will say, yeah, this is really great, but it's really limited. They don't do anything else, blah, blah, blah. But it's just, I think that's probably correct, but it's what they do is really nice. And I think for short doses, this is a relatively short, I think it's 7-track album, maybe 8 tracks. It's just perfect, really, for a mood piece. You know, you wouldn't listen to it every day, but then, you know. So anyway, this user review is really nice. I think Charlie Quaker is the reviewer's name, and they said the songs bask in a generally subtle, smooth flow, almost jazzy at times, but the mindset is pure, tripped-out bliss. Ripley Johnson's guitar is heavenly, dreamy, a fluid, otherworldly rocket ship floating through the universe on a leisurely voyage to Nirvana. The keyboards and krautrock tinged rhythms recall Johnson's poppier band, Moon Duo. There are similarities to bands such as Brian Jonestown Massacre, The Velvet Underground, Spaceman 3, and Suicide. V rises like a kaleidoscope peacock on magical wings, extending a visionary optimism to starry-eyed dreamers and seekers of audio euphoria. Recommended. I just think that's really nice. So I went to go and get the lyrics because you can make out, there's little snippets, you can make about 2 or 3 words and then it goes and comes back, you know. So I went on and everyone, it said lyrics not released. Now, you know me, I always do my bit, and I've only been defeated once in all our time by bloody Moose with his mumblings. Second time defeated, I gave up because I couldn't. I got about 3 words from the first 4 lines, and I sod it, you know. So it will remain a mystery, but it's probably about being relaxed. I'm already gone, probably stoned out, you know.
Yeah. I'm willing to run with that.
Yeah, and I think that's what the matters. I think another reviewer said somewhere that his vocals just become almost like another instrument, you know, adding to the layer.
Precisely.
That's exactly what. Yeah.
Yep. And that's why everything about it that stood out to me was from like more of a musical or instrumental standpoint. Yeah.
And again, it's a really nice. I mean, I struggled picking which song to give you off this album because there's about 3 that I really like. They're all of the same vibe, as it were. They sound different, but there's this same sort of quality to them. And I thought this was a nice chilled one. So you wouldn't twist your melon to this. Just for the band, Wiki states that they're still going to present, but there's been nothing even on their own website since 2018. So hiatus, I guess.
Yeah.
As mentioned by the guy there, Ripley Johnson's also in Moon Duo. I've got a bit of their stuff. I didn't realize he was in both, but and some of their stuff's quite groovy as well.
Yeah, I've heard of them before, but it's almost like the same thing with Wooden Shjips, where I've probably heard the name in passing on a podcast or someone was talking about them, and I never really listened to the music at all.
Yeah, I mean, earlier albums are a bit more muscular, but it's that same sort of classic rock. It's evolved out of Frisco for the 60s, definitely. You know, all of it. It's just so, this is more trippy and gentle, and it's just really nice. As he says in December, this is a lovely summer song. So, but someone will pick up watching this next year or the year after or whatever in July and think, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So there you go. Right.
There's those other two tracks. Like, if you ever want to bring them forward in the future, like, I'm not adverse to checking these guys out again. I really liked my experience listening to this.
It's a nice vibe, isn't it? It's easy
Yeah,
going
yeah,
as well. You know?
yeah.
Cool. All right, I'll wrap things up. And from what you said as well, thanks, Andy, for listening to this. Thanks, folks out there, for listening as well. And do you have any suggestions from V, from West, or any of your other albums? Wooden Shjips, do you dig them? And if so, which tracks do you reckon we should listen to? Drop them in the comments. If you like this, hit the like button and let us know. And if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. You'll make an old man very happy, and me as well. And
It's full of shit.
that being said, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.